Hello everyone, how are you? I am Ritesh, Power BI super user and Tableau ambassador, first in the world to have both the titles. So, what I have for you today? Remember that the when you are starting with DEX. So, if you are starting with DEX, it's very important for you to learn filter context and row context. You should be very clear about both of these concepts. Today we'll talk more about row context. In the next video, I'll talk about filter context. Also, we are going to solve a couple of questions based on row context. These questions can be handy for your PL 300 preparation. So we'll come to these questions towards the end. So first of all, you learn about this concept, and after that, you only answer. Now, this section is from powerbidocs.com. I'll ensure that you get this link at the YouTube description so you can have it there. Maybe you're not able to see the link because its layout is altered, but that link will be there at the description. So as I said, let us start with the row concept, not filter context. Today we are going to talk about row context, and in the next video we'll talk about filter context. As the name suggests, row, it's row by row. There is nothing special. Row context means row by row. So in other words, your expression iterates over a table. So by default, this row context will exist in the calculated column by default. But if you will move over to the measure, you will have to make use of a specific functions ending with x, as you can see, SUMX, AVERAGEX, in order to turn your sum into an iterating function. So when you see the example, you'll get to know what I'm trying to quantity and unit price. So as you can see, we have a very simple data set over there. Let me enlarge it. Hope it is visible, where you have different products like Nestle, Dairy Milk, Kit Kat. Then you have quantity and then you have unit price. So if I want to get the overall sales row by row, then I need to multiply quantity with unit price. And it has to be row by row, right? And that is what calculated column does. So we'll create a calculated column over there. So I create a new column. And I give it name as total sales. I may a little bit enlarge it for you. Is it okay? And after that, I would say quantity and I say unit price, right? There is no need of sum or quantity, and we will talk about that later as well. We are talking about calculated column. Okay, that's it. And that looks pretty okay. 10 into 330, 5 into 210, 10 into 220, and it looks perfect. So that is what it is. This is your row context, row by row calculation. Now let us try to analyze this at a report level. So I go to my report and let me get the table and what we have got right now. So we have just created total sales. That is the calculated column, and let me just format it. So it looks better. So now our total sales is 60, which makes sense because 30 plus 10 plus 20 is equal to 60. So what will happen if I put similar formula or expression with a new measure? So let us see what will happen. So I can say here as total sales as measure. And here you will see one thing. If I just put quantity over there, nothing is coming up because this is a measure, right? It has to quantify. So it will always expect something out of that bracket in the form of some average. Because this is a measure, it has to measure something, right? It is not going to pick your individual column name. So we'll have to put sum. So sum. Now if you say quantity, okay. But now if I say quantity into unit price, uh, look, nothing will happen. So you cannot have two columns within an aggregate function over there. So the only option that is left is okay. And I say into and again sum. And in this case, I say unit price and that's it. So this is total sales as measure. Okay, this name is already there. So I just say as a measure. Okay, that's it. And let me pick it from there and see what will come over there. Let me expand it and so that you can see. Boom, 175. How come 175? So there is no row by row iteration. If you see sum over there, it will take sum of quantity, overall quantity, and it will take sum of overall unit price, and after that it will multiply both. You don't believe me? Okay, let us see. So if you see quantity over there, just added 3 plus 2 plus 2, 3 to 5 to 7, and unit price, if you just add it, it's 10 plus 25 into 7, that is 175. So your internal operation of your measure is sum, overall sum of your quantity, overall sum of your price, top to bottom, and after that it will multiply and get you the result, that is 175. Remember that PBIX or even Tableau files, right? Interestingly, both are column oriented database management system. So whenever you say sum inside the bracket any column, it takes whole column, right? And it gives you the end result. Now that's an interesting take, and I saw that in the Kerbal video channel, and that's a good channel, and in which she was talking about the column oriented approach. So if you say sum and the column name, it gives you the overall sum of that column, right? That's the interesting part, and that is what is happening over here as well. Now, how to fix that? So you remember at the start what we said, a row context exists in either a calculated column, so column is fine, or an iterating dex function such as SUMX, AVERAGEX. So instead of sum, we have to make use of SUMX. If I go back to my report, we go to my report and we create a new measure. So here I would say something different, say total sales, maybe underscore X, so that you remember what we are doing, and say as a measure. And in this case, I'm going to use some X instead, right? Now, if you see the syntax, it asks for the table, and the table name is chocolate. And I have the expression. The expression is what? I have unit price and into quantity, right? Here you go. So if I add this very particular measure, let me just expand this in advance. And if I add this one, boom, I get the correct amount as 60. So we have sorted that. But what if, another interesting point over here, what if I have total sales is equal to sum of quantity into sum of unit price over there? In other words, we can say if we have measures as a column. In this case, I'm going to make a new column. So I can say the new column, which is this one. So I can say this as total sales measure as a column. Okay. And instead of the naked field names over there, I'll just put some of, or maybe let me expand this a little bit, and maybe it is more than a little bit, but anyways, you can please adjust. And here you go. Now, if you see, the interesting part is now it is 175, 175, 175. Now, even inside a calculated column, if I take quantity and unit price as measures, and if I do sum of quantity into sum of unit price, I get 175. Now, this is quite confusing, right? So yes, calculated column is by default row by row, but in this case, again, the same thing, sum. So when you say sum of quantity, it takes quantity from top to bottom, even if you are at column, because it does not know that it has to filter. In fact, there is no filter. This is just the rows over there, right? These are only rows over there. There is no filter context being applied, right? So inserting sum over there means you're coming out of the row context. You are aggregating this at the column level, top to bottom, same thing, 3 plus 2 plus 2, that becomes 7 into 25, that is 175. And after that, the resultant product is being applied at each and every column over there, this being a column, or say row by row calculations. So this is an important concept to learn. So can I get rid of it over here itself? And sometimes we call it as context transition. Yes, you can do it. The only thing that you have to do over here is just insert calculate over there. So let me insert calculate. Uh, Let me just remove that indicator and the another calculate there. And here you go. And here you go, we are good again because of this calculate function over there. Now it has transitioned the context again back to row level. Now that's interesting. So just to summarize, row context exists in either a calculated column, the one we created total sales with the columns quantity and price. At measure level, you will have to make use of SUMX, AVERAGEX to convert sum or average into an iterative function. This is an example of the same. And after that, we got the correct answer over there. Putting sum behind any column basically means uh, Power BI is a column-oriented database management system. So if you say sum, it will take the sum of the column itself from top to bottom. That's the way it operates. And in order to sort that, you can make, or in order to transfer the context again, you can make use of calculate function over there. So I think this is the time to solve those PL300 questions, and let us see if you can solve it. You can pause over here and get the answer. The answer is A, 175 will come because of the aggregation sum. It will take it from top to bottom. So sum of overall quantity 7, sum of overall unit price 25. 25 into 7, 175 for each and every row. Again, you can pause it over here. So which DEX expression will give the below result? Red one, 30, 10, and 20. So the one way is to get the context back is to get the calculate just before your aggregate function, and that can help you to get the correct answer, and again it will operate row by row. So the answer for this would be D. So I hope this was an informative session for you, and this is my website dancingwithdata.com, where you will get all the data insight with respect to Tableau and Power BI both. So now I would just ask you to wait for my next video that will be on filter context, another very important topic along with the PL300 questions. So this is Ritesh signing off from Dancing with Data. So dance with data, sing with data, and have fun with data. Bye bye.